me. Generals gathered in their masses. Get out of the way.
Hello and welcome to Office Hours with Amber. I'm Amber and we have a lot to talk about today. I don't know if you guys were around for Mercury retrograding, but she was retrograding as fuck last week. She retrograded for the last few months, really. Today we are going to be just diving head first into a lot of stuff. I'm going to make sure the audio's working because you need to hear me loud and clear. Rather, I need to hear myself loud and clear because I today am going to be different. One moment, let's say. There we go. Okay. Audio's good. We're here together. Okay, so everything I say today is going to sound like I'm speaking in tongues, that I'm losing my mind a little bit, and maybe I am. And so what? So, let me pull up. I have like 16 notes because trying to trade, like, I feel like a mad scientist. Like, if you can see the thinking wall behind me, the amount of thinking I did, because I traveled the last 2 weeks, and it's crazy what I can accomplish. Oh, thank you, Jody. You did such a beautiful job of my hair. Oh yeah, I chopped all my hair off. At least I didn't shave it all off. But yes, Jody, thank you. I like chopped it and I was like, Jody, can you come help me? But yes, it's she turned out good. But to start, I need to do a special shout out. And I shout them out all the time. But if you go back to the first live stream of the year where I was doing the inventory revamp, it was sponsored. Like kind of indirectly sponsored by Night Shift. And let me tell you, this whole episode, focus. This whole episode, again, fueled by Night Shift. This flavor is raspberry pomegranate. Yum. This shit literally makes me smarter. And when I tell you, I did basically like 2 15-hour days this weekend of root cause analysis and problem solving and thinking. And like I literally said the word Eureka. I have uncovered some of the deepest truths about myself this weekend, and that is because I'm drinking my brain juice here. Yeah. The hair, the wine glass, everything has been leading to this sassier, more direct version of me. And I don't know what the fuck Mercury was doing, but we are coming clean about a lot of things. My mom said something really impactful the other week. She says impactful things all the time, but she said something really impactful the other week. And she said, shame and guilt, embarrassment are useless emotions. Now, they might have use to other people, but unfortunately, harboring it is a useless action. It might be a good indicator. Actually, the use of those things is to show you where you've got these kind of touchy spots. And financially, I don't see finances as a personal thing. It's either you have it, you don't. You can do this or you can't. And back when I worked at Anheuser-Busch, I had a healthy salary. I made $100,000 a year when I first started. We're going to be saying, so today I want to be clear, just trigger warning. And this might be the sharpest, most direct I've ever been. And that's going to be uncomfortable for some of you because it's a little uncomfortable for me. But guess what? On the other side of uncomfortability is a lot of progress. If I go into a facility and I have a bunch of entry level, like the line workers that don't tell me what's going on, I'm not solving the right problem. I am the line worker in this problem, and I've been lying to myself for months. Not lying, just more of like, well, it's not that bad. Oh, it's gonna be fine. There's a difference between trusting that the universe has your back and understanding that the universe is sending you messages to say, hey, get the fuck up. Now, you might not be in a financial position or in a cognitive position, a stress level situation where you can listen to me talk about this stuff, and that's fine, because I wasn't in this place until last week. The clouds lifted, and I'm ready to take full accountability and wrap my arms all the way around the financial problem I'm under. Like, when you're in a state of depression, overwhelmed, burnout, you I can't see farther than my hand. Like, I can think about stuff, and I feel it. I've for months have convinced myself that, oh, I'm taking accountability. I wasn't. There's so many actions that were within my control, but can't do anything about yesterday, Amber. You can only do things about today, Amber. So when you wake up and you get outside of, like, you finally, the monkey that has been on your back gets off just for a sec. This is that moment. So today I'm going to be saying a lot of uncomfortable truths. These are all my opinions, my behaviors, my personal beliefs, and what you hear in the next hour is going to be very unfiltered, very unpolished, and very deeply personal to me and my beliefs. Because what I show you each week on Office Hours with Amber is like kind of cheeky fun, you know? But underneath all of that, there's a very depressed, angry person that lives real deep dark in there. And that person spends money a little like a misbehaving teenager. She can be contained and she can be tamed. And I believe by kind of shining light on all the shadows that surround me financially and behaviorally, that is going to help me wrap my arms entirely around the problem. And I'm going to talk in circles all day. Hey, guess what? It's my podcast. I can do what I want. Anyway, so today, I just want to make sure everyone's clear that I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm telling you where I'm at, what I'm doing about it, and how I'm going to make a plan for the future. Because this is not a problem I can fix in one day. And Office Hours with Amber was originally created to help me solve a problem. The original problem was that I felt behind in Excel. Now I feel behind in my finances and all the behaviors that relate to it. Now, this is also coming off the tail of last week. I built that, the beginnings of like a goal tracker, and you saw it here live. I decided that I was going to get out of bed by 9 a.m. every day. I was going to get in bed by 12:30 every day. And I did it. Thank you. I deserve.
Wow, oh my gosh, what a beautiful angel queen princess girl.
In the history of my life, I have never consistently gotten out of bed by 9 a.m. Even during my corporate career, nothing. So the fact that I could do that just because I wished it into existence, 1 week of that, I had all these like additional hours in the day where I was cognitively awake and alert. And that's when I started looking pretty point blank at a lot of stuff going on in my life. And I was like, oh my God, oops. So today we're going to be uncovering quite a few truths. But yeah, okay, I'm going to keep speaking in tongues. But an important video, let's just describe the problem. I currently have... This is the period of time where I'm just going to tell you exactly what's wrong. And then we're going to talk about how I got there. Then we're going to talk about what I'm doing to assess the problem. And then I'm going to talk about what I plan to do to get myself out of this problem. Let me write that down because I'm going to forget. Problem. How there. How to assess. Path forward. Okay. Let's just cut to it. So currently, I have $38,782.11 on 2 credit cards, cumulatively between 2 credit cards. That's a number. Now, you might be saying, when I used to hear what people's credit card debt situation was, I would be like, oh my gosh, what did they buy? As if it was an overnight thing. That is not the situation of how normally people get into credit card debt. What happens is, I don't know if you've looked around at the economy, but things are a little bit more expensive now. And additionally, owning your own business, sometimes cash flow doesn't work the way that you think it'll work. So in contrast to the $38,782.11 that I owe on my credit card, I have $37,112.50 that I am owed in outbound invoices. So what this indicates is that I don't spend above my means if I spend within the bounds of what I'm invoicing. However, when your clients can't pay the invoices back to you, that creates a situation where I over time I would flex, and because with my clients, because I have a vested interest in them succeeding, if I just say pay my bills, okay, then they have no money to pay their bills. It just rolls downstream. So the initial root problem solved for that, you'd be like, well, just get them to pay you. Okay, well, what about next month? I have a unique opportunity right now. And additionally, let me backpedal. In addition to that, there's a lot, I will also say, like, the whole point of this entire exercise is, I don't even know why I'm trying to like justify myself. Here's the situation. And that you can feel it coming out of me trying to say, well, it's actually not that bad. It's actually, no, Amber, you have $38,782 on your credit card right now. The APY is between 20 and 25% per card. You have to sit with that. You have to sit in it. Say it. If you have a situation you've been avoiding, there's an act of just sitting in it. So Thursday last week, I took a hard look at that number. Had a panic attack. Had a cry. Had 2 cries. Cut my hair. And then I got to work. And that's what you see in this wall behind me. All of the problem-solving techniques that I use with my business, with my clients, all of this is the same methods I'm going to be using on myself, because that shit's tried and true. We love a root cause analysis. So the problem is that how we got here. So historically, what would happen is I would let it get to a certain point, and then I would ask the investor to be like, hey, let's pay down some of my credit cards. Or I would never ask that of an investor. I would ask if they could pay down some of my invoices. Or I would work with individual clients to be like, hey, let's get some invoices paid. The problem is that when your client is at a pinch point themselves, I now no longer have that avenue. Additionally, because of the amount of leverage that I've kind of extended, and what I didn't account for, because of the next thing I say, the interest is now accruing faster than, even if they paid all their invoices today, I still have to take out taxes, which makes it so that I don't actually have enough in receivables to cover what I thought I would. So now that's where it kind of kicked my brain on and be like, oh no, I have to go outside of the bounds that I would normally do. Now, in the past also, I have given myself, I originally had more in my 401k. I have $79,533 in my 401k currently, or my Roth IRA, or my retirement account. And because in the past I've had a pretty low will to live, I've been like, well, what do I care? I'll just take out of that, like do an early penalty, which is not advisable. I do not advise that. However, if taking 20 grand out of that to cover whatever was going to keep me in a mental position where I could keep going and pursuing what I believe and I know to be true, I believe so wholeheartedly in the work that I'm doing, the businesses that I support, that it's worth taking a financial risk like this, because YOLO, like if I didn't believe in myself so wholeheartedly, then I probably would have applied for normal jobs by now. But I believe that I can do this, and I believe I can fix this problem too, because I am not afraid of a challenge. So I'm taking you along on this journey to show you how I sort my challenges out, because this is going to be a challenge. I'm not denying that. Because I was already pretty nickel and diming it, and now I just have to get much more intentional, but we're going to get there. Anyways, so how we got here though, basically it started to tip over. And then in the moment of tipping over, I was working on my sales strategies. You guys saw plenty of months and weeks of me working on my invoicing strategies, on my sales strategies, on marketing. Like, I've worked on them individually in these segmented efforts. But so I've been kind of trying. However, if we remember what happened in May, Amber, she was gutted from her house. The cute thing that happens every year is I get depressed. Wow, a concept. Living in Michigan, we get sad. So I also am kind of calling this series, like, in my mind, I'm going to call it 600 things, but really today is kind of brainstorming and getting y'all up to speed on what you're going to see for the next 6 months of Officers Lambert content. So it's going to become less engineering improv and back to Officers Lambert because I got a fucking plan. Because when I think with engineering improv up until now, I've been like kind of aimless, not knowing, like I just felt like I don't know what I should really be working on, and there was so much fear and tension, but now we're here. Okay. I'm going to start talking. I eventually will get to the fucking point, Since engineering improv was to get me through the hump of being like so overwhelmed by everything, now that I have a clear, specific, tangible goal, that can be broken down into much more digestible, understandable things. And now I've got something on the line to lose, and that gets people fucking going. So anyways, the ADHD, she's locked. So in all of that, depression's going to come every year. And I do think what I've learned, or like what I recognized in the last week, is you have to regulate self to regulate health to regulate wealth. Because I could work hard. If I get burnt out, poof, they all fall down. I could work hard, and then I get sick. Poof, all fall down. If I do not do, like I have the daily habits that I kind of showed you on last Monday, if I don't take care of my sleep hygiene, if I'm not eating properly, if I'm not drinking water and going out, like getting some movement in, all of those actually benefit my cognitive health as well. And because ADHD relies so heavily on executive function and cognitive health, I got to focus on it. So last week showed me if I put my mind to it, I can put my grind to it. Actually, we need to watch that. One moment. Grind time, prime time. This is going to get everybody going, I think.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Not an ad. Okay, here we go. This is what we're going into this next 6 months with.
You are the motherfucking shit. You are great. You are magnificent. You can do whatever you want to do in this world. Put your mind to it, put your grind to it, and you can do it. Get up, get out, get motivated, get inspired, get your motherfucking shine on today because you can. You are number one. I don't know no 2 or 3, but I know you that one. Period. Don't let nobody, nothing distract you from the grind time, prime time. It's your time right now. Do whatever it is you need to do. What you say? You was gonna give up. Bitch, you wasn't finna give nothing up. You was finna keep striving, keep pushing, keep working, and keep doing your shit. You are great. It's nothing but success in your future.
Mm-hmm. Brings a tear to the eye. Aren't you just so excited? I love problem solving. It's such a gift to be protected by the universe, to be given this opportunity to look my finances in the face of bodily health. Like I am able-bodied, able-minded. I've been given the opportunity to solve a tackleable, complex problem. And I was texting, oh, hey, Caleb. Yeah, definitely some interesting stuff coming our way today. So I texted this to Matt, and I like this is an awakening that came after a long weekend of stuff. So I texted him, and this sounds like AI, but like it came from my brain, I promise. My life's fulfillment comes from deep tension trying to solve complex problems. The aha moment and figuring out the plan of what I'm going to do to fix it. And then the long tail of my gratification comes from teaching others about what I learned. That's the whole thing. Oops, sorry, banjo. I can appreciate the tension I'm in more because I know that the deep satisfaction and love I have for life is coming from the light bulb moments I have. How cool is that? This is of all the things we're going to talk about, all the deeply transactional things that I can do and all the things that I'm going to do, man, what a beautiful moment in my life to just be able to sit here and say, wow, I've been given this mind, this YouTube channel, the people I chit chat with you guys, these problems, the deep humanity, and the opportunity to assess my behaviors, learn more about myself, to be able to push to this. I feel like, I do a lot of work on self-improvement, but I've been ignoring the financial side of it for so long because when you start a business, you really don't know up, down, left, or right. But I'm finally getting to a place where I'm like, my business is profitable, but I'm not. And so I really am so, oh, Banjo. I don't know if you can see him. He's down underneath the logo. But that video makes me so happy because it's like, man, what a gift. I have this opportunity here, but I digress. So now that yeah, how we got to this moment, although all of this sounds all, great and expressive, when the sun goes away for a few months, I get depressed. My energy is low. My willingness to live pretty low. My willingness to do things outside of my bounds pretty low. But this duration is going to be kind of called preparing for hibernation. If I know I'm going to be low starting in December, what am I doing now to store all the little acorns so that I'm ready by then? And so that's what I'm excited to finally take ownership of this part that I've been just holding all of this shame, resentment, and like guilt about. Because on the other side of it, oh my gosh, could you imagine how good I'm going to feel? I'm so excited about, it's about the climb, the whole process of unwinding all of these behaviors. And I've already done like a sticky note exercise, and there's a lot of stuff that I need to put in the computer and like get there. But man, to be able to have the moment to like really, sit with myself and like actually question a lot of myself. I feel like I've been just turning my wheels for so long of like, what should I fucking do next? Learn a language, I guess. Like I knew something was wrong, but anyways, I'm getting off track. I'm so off track. But okay, we got here because of the depressive period and then the condemnation period. The condemnation of my apartment, I built. And the reason why it was so detrimental when my finch bird died, when I got taken, when my apartment got condemned, because all of my systems broke the day that our apartments were condemned. And as someone with ADHD and who needs routine to keep everything going, basically from May 7th until now, I've been just clawing my way to get back into routine, and I'm so excited. It's difficult to get back into a routine, but that's where I did a lot of analytics about life systems or whatever. A few of the things that we're going to talk about here in the future is personal operating systems and emotional profitability, a personal P&L. We're going to talk about that in a bit. I just want to like pin it so that I remember to come back to it. Okay. In terms of how I plan to assess everything currently is I'm going to be taking kind of the same approach that I take with all of my problem solving. And I tried out Claude Code to make myself like a little problem solving system. It's kind of cute. I'm going to show you what I made and like how that's going to translate. And I'll tell you some of the findings. But basically, I took what I built. Let me pull up the Excel file. Basically, at the Excel conference, I provided this problem solving Excel sheet, which I liked. It just was kind of clunky, ugly, bad, but it did the job. So what happens? Okay. So essentially what it is there's like alignment, assessment, advance. And the advance is a PDCA. So the problem solving, these are all very like 101 level industrial engineering techniques. Basically, you take what your problem is. Like I can say like, why do I spend so much money? Or you can say, how did I get to 39K on my credit card? And then you can start to make these little sticky notes. And this is a digital representation of what I did physically. But you could say like, I like to get coffee every day. And you just will make a bunch of you can make a bunch of sticky notes of basically you write down every single symptom of that problem. How did that happen? Then you take those sticky notes, which my sticky notes, I've got 16 tabs open and all of them are kind of stupid. Anyways, I took all of those sticky notes and I started going, why do I spend so much money? When do I spend so much money? What do I spend a lot on? I wanted to answer a lot of those things. And so I took all of those sticky notes, and now what I need to do next is categorize them into their kind of their categorize them. I could either use man, method, machine, material, mother nature, measurement. Those are the standard Fishbone, Ishikawa diagram, categories, or I can separate them into like business expenses, discretionary spend that makes me happy, discretionary spend that makes me sad, and that comes later. So I need to then the next step is categorizing to find out what is the primary aspect or place in my life. Is it emotions? Man, like the man, Bishop, you know what? Let's fix that. What man? Is it me? Is it the way that the fact that I have a Apple Pay? Is it the fact, Mother Nature? That would be like, environmental life circumstance. That would be wildwood. That's unexpected, or kind of like tires get popped or something. Measurement is maybe I didn't know that my credit card, I didn't know how credit card interest accrues. That could have been it. Or maybe they're incorrectly charging me interest. Not the case. You take all of your sticky notes and you categorize them. From there, you investigate your top 3 areas. So if I say why do I emotionally, you start with why do I feel the need to pay for the bill for large tables? And then it's because I can't sit with the discomfort of watching people split bills. Then then I get to, where does that emotion come from? Because if we can find the root cause, that root emotion of when in my life did I think that paying for people was something that I had to do versus, or what, So by doing the root cause analysis on the behaviors related to the finances, that is going to tell me what the primary things are necessary for. Anyways, I'm going to be using those strategies, and I swapped that tool into, I made that tool. I did the quick Claude code, could you make this into a tool? So then what I could do is I could say Uber Eats. I don't do that, but you could say Uber Eats. And let me zoom in a bit. Actually, let me just let me look at the, I'll just put the actual ones in. Zoom out. Caleb, that is that's a very funny question. So the question is, do I budget? When I take home $1,600 every 2 weeks, yes, I do have essentially my financial management routine is anything that must be paid in cash. Whenever I get a new invoice in, I will put it into, actually, I not every 2 weeks. I get $1,650 every month. Because my business is profitable, that's all I can take out with the whole taxes situation. So $1,650. I will take out $400 for my car, $170 for student loans, $120 or $180, $200 for insurance, and then I have a few random little things that'll come out. So I allot that into the cash accounts, and then everything else goes towards credit cards. Now, in terms of budgeting, like my expenses saying like, I can only spend $50 in fast food this week. I would love to say I do. But unfortunately, when you're depressed, you don't give a fuck because you're like, I don't care if I die. I don't care. Like, and that is where it's like, what are they going to do when I'm dead? Garnish my weight, you know? And so because my will to live is so low, budgeting hasn't worked. But that's why I have to regulate self, to regulate health, to regulate wealth. Because if you're in a place where you can't even, if you've got such the pathological demand avoidance where you can't even be told to brush your teeth once a day, let alone twice, budgets don't work. In a dysregulated space. And I say that because dysregulated Amber makes irrational financial choices. I think most people in dysregulated spaces make irrational financial choices. And so really this comes down into like a few things. I need more income. I need to audit what I'm spending currently. I need to take stepping stone approaches to narrowing that. We've got a 15-step plan of things that we need to do. I'm talking about strategy at the moment of how we need to wrap our arms entirely around the problem. But so what we could do, where are we at? There we go. Don't have enough income. That is we'll just call it material. We don't have enough of the material. Sales. And that's the tough part is like, my love of systems and my raging ADHD are the two wolves that live inside of me at all time. Puzzles make you think that you might enjoy the analysis. And I do love the analysis if the only answer is, oh, just get more sales. And then I go, okay, do you have any clients for me? And they go, no. Which such a good time to say that. In the middle of me talking about my financial crisis, if you or someone you know needs help with fractional industrial engineering services, professional problem solving services, I do offer that for money. And that's one of my pain points is that I'm just not a salesperson, which makes business ownership a little tough. So, if I had enough income, the puzzle would be delicious. Because if we go back in time, when I was working at AB, I paid off like 40 grand in credit card or 40 grand in student loans in the first 2 years of being out of college. Like when I have enough money, I'm fantastic at paying stuff off, and I live well within my means. And I used to pay my credit card off in full each month, and so really, it's more of this is the right moment to really snap into what. Actually, let's one sec. Okay, so essentially, what I'm going to be doing is completing. Today, I'm just talking you through what the fuck happened to me over this weekend, because let me show you this video, and that's going to paint the picture of exactly what happened this weekend. You're gonna laugh. Here we go. Oh, shit. Hi. I'm Amber Johnson, and I am starting my analysis on why I spend so much money. Who knows if I'm ever going to watch this video, but to the wall. And then I just proceeded to sticky note the fuck out of it. And then we got tired of it. And, the other thing is there's like a sense of motherfucker. There's a sense of perfectionism that also comes with this, because sometimes, thank you, Jody, for the sunglasses comment. I got them at Miss Chloe's bachelorette, and I'm so sorry, Chloe. The New Orleans trip really is what kicked this all off, because I spent so much money and I just felt so out of control because it felt like I couldn't say no to things. And That's what spooks me the most is I feel in control of a lot of things in my life, but the fact that my emotions was causing me to spend the money. I'm not emotional about, or rather, I don't take it personally about how much money I have or how much money people have. It's more of, I felt like, and to kind of go into this, like, let's see, let me read off. I'm going to read off some of the sticky notes. You don't have a salary. Stop acting like you do. I have a lack of respect for my own money and my own stability. I care much more about the stability of others. And so having to lock into a place where I had to realize I can't help anyone if I am at the bottom of the ocean. If I completely am financially drowning, I can't continue to help. Like if I'm so scarce in my heart, I'm not going to be able to help people. And so that's where, slow realignment after stepping out of line. I'm slow. Okay. So I'm slow. I'm just going to read off the sticky notes. Fuck it. I'm slow to, I'm not even going to try to doctor these. Just let's look together. Fuck it. Okay. So from this, the sticky notes. Don't have enough income. I'm bad at maintaining my price when I sell my services. I don't have a good prospecting routine or offer that I feel like makes sense. I'm embarrassed about asking for help and asking for more clients. Oh, it makes me nauseous. I designate a lot of time for a client that cannot pay me in enough time, but because I believe in what they're doing, that is tough for me to balance. Cash flow versus profitability are two different things. This mental section is basically the key. What I found is my biggest trigger is traveling, because I have this thought in my head as if like when I travel, I have a perceived allowable negligence. Like, oh, my hands are tied, guys. We gotta get this $10 water bottle at the airport. Like it's a perceived allowable negligence and ignorance. It's like, no, you can actually just say no or, be uncomfortable for a bit. But anyways, my Australia, New Zealand trip, holy shit, that was a lot of money. Wildwood, that was probably in totality with all of the restaurants that and this is analysis that numbers I want to tie to. I want to feel and encompass of the 39K, and I wish I could have gotten it done by today, but there was a new development in Wildwood today, and that is for another time. But anyways, in this subsection, I'm over the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing like real analytics and taking you along with me to show you exactly how you analyze and categorize your expenses. I'll be using Rocket Money, and I have been using Rocket Money, and it's worth it because it's easy for me to do a bunch of stuff, but I digress. I love my friend Jasmine. I think it's like your money friend Jasmine on TikTok and Instagram. She talks about choose your luxuries. I won't be giving up my daily coffee. If that is what it comes to, I'd rather just die. I'm all right with that. But I am going to give myself 3 luxuries that I get to spend money on. Everything else has to become rice and beans of their respective categories. Travel. Perceived allowable negligence, my technology subscriptions and random subscriptions. I need to do an audit of subscriptions. We all do, but like it just another deep look. Lack of financial routine, review, categorization, budget, look at it. Like you said, budgeting. Just to be able to say, and in Rocket Money, there is an application, or like there's a subsection where you can say, it'll ping you when you're over your budget, and it uses your previous months to like, based on how you've categorized, to do an average, and it's really easy. So I was like, okay, I can't not. When another huge trigger, so the triggers so far, depression, travel, drinking. Since I've moved home back to Michigan, I drink like once a month. But when I was at the hotel with Wildwood, and when you're at the hotel and you are 5 steps away from a bar, your girl loves a cocktail. And that is, I wouldn't say I'm an alcoholic. It's more of when I love a fancy bev. I love a fancy bev. The problem is, 1, after I have 1 drink, I can't work anymore. And it's really required that I keep working. 2, when I have a cocktail, I love food. I love a little midnight snack. So, and additionally, cocktails, they are not helping the health, which does not help me with the wealth. And so actually by taking care of health and just saying, hey, I'm only going to drink once a month, or I'm putting laws in place, like similar with, the out of bed by 9, in bed by midnight 30. I have a habit on the thing. I'm not going to eat out more than 2 meals a week. And I don't want to drink. I think this is the path to sobriety, is just, and there might be, it's not more of like, I can't drink. It's more of like, it's got to be an occasion. And I really need to question all of the one-off, just a beer, why? Have water. You know that it interrupts your work. It interrupts your budget goals. It interrupts so many things. So Amber, why? I digress. Okay. Fast food, convenience. Oh, hey, Matt, you're walking in at a great time. We're going over my sticky notes exercise on my financial spending. So, lack of financial routine. I'm excited because when I got to that sticky note, I thought about it, and I think I have been looking at my life. There's a profit and loss for a business, but why can't I have a profit and loss for my personal? Like, why am I, and what I want to do is, there's income, which is, from all the income sources you have. And then I want to review like things that I spend money on that are emotionally profitable versus emotionally unprofitable. I would say 50% of the drinks I buy are emotionally unprofitable. Sometimes if it's like catching up with like a girlfriend I haven't seen in a while, hey, that's an emotionally profitable beverage and that's okay. Or spending money on like a computer part that makes it more fun to do this. Emotionally profitable, and that adds to the radiance I experience in life. But if I spend $50 on a convenience item at the airport, emotionally unprofitable. So I'm excited, and what led me to Eureka was I'm excited to make a personal P&L and be able to segment all of it energetically, which is going to be a better ongoing month-end process for myself. But anyways, okay, we're getting there. We got so much more to cover. So, fast food convenience, given that I am home for a while, and given that travel is one of my key triggers, I've canceled all unpaid trips for the rest of the year. Just like my hair, chopped it just right off, which really hurt my own feelings. But I've been able to, because I was honest with my friends about, hey, here's the situation. It opens up the opportunity for them and us to create like more affordable, goal-aligned ways to get in touch with each other and like emulate the experience without having to do, something that's triggering to my budget currently. On the other side of discomfort is something good. It's just real. That was tough. So we've decreased the travel problem. We are decreasing the drinking problem. Now that I'm not near a hotel, it's great. Because when I'm home, I don't drink. But it's a write-off is a trap. Because the number of times I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, it'll come out in the wash. And like, then I'm like, oh, but I'm decreasing my taxable stuff. That's the thing. That works if it's something that brings the business value over time. And I think there was a few things like subscription, like a few tech subscriptions that I was trying out that I'm like, it's a write-off. Well, if we're not really using that, if I'm not taking the time to really utilize that software to its full capacity, then that's not beneficial and that's no longer emotionally profitable. So it's a write-off trap. I'm doing an audit on that as well. So that I at least, whatever, taxes are taxes, but at least we'll get there. Embarrassment asking for, I don't know what letting my friends, family know how bad I'm in. I think it is embarrassing, and that's what prevents me from talking about it, but who gives a fuck? I'm not embarrassed anymore. Some things are just expensive. Sometimes I'm quick to buy. no budget. Again, I disrespect budgets. I don't set reasonable budgets, and there's no real consequence for going over budget. And I think the no real consequence is the problem. Credit cards with points or travel incentives are a trap for me. It's not like I'll like intentionally spend on the card to get that thing. It's just more of like, I want no incentives. I want zero. I just want this to be, but I don't need incentives anymore. Just shame. Ew. Social equals money. When I leave the house, I'm going to spend $100 and you have to question that belief, because I used to say that. I was just like, yep. All right, here it comes. I accepted it as truth, and that's not truth. You can leave the house and do plenty of free stuff. And okay. Belief every day, every time I leave the house, I will at least spend $100. If I grab lunch or coffee, I should offer everyone. Making them pay is rude. That's a belief I held very near and dear to my heart of I am really bad at saying 2 bills. And that is one of the things that I'll behaviorally be root cause analyzing afterwards. But comma. That's pretty much as far as I went with that specific exercise. But another exercise I kind of did, because when I was walking through this exercise, what I recognized is that there was 2 people in my head that were talking to me. And I know that sounds nuts. So, and this is also, again, deeply personal, but whatever. I got to let it out. Otherwise, I'll keep hiding it. Okay, there is the zest and there is the pest. Let me move that here. And this pessimist, lives in me all the time, and I am fighting her all the time. Zest, I can do this. Pest, who cares? Zest, why not? So the part of me that is hopeful, that believes in what I can do, like she says things like, I want to feel stable. I know I can solve this. Just because they don't know about me and what I offer doesn't mean that I'm not worth it. I just need to keep showing up. It's on its way. I am miraculous to those who haven't seen my work. I've worked for my expertise. My knowledge is valuable, and I love to share my gifts. That's all things I believe on the zest side of me. The other half of me, and they take percentages in different times. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Why bother? It's not worth fixing. I'm not worth fixing. I don't need a 401k because likely I won't make it that far. It shouldn't be that hard, and I'm just not reliable enough to achieve it. Fundamentally, I can't see myself doing it alone, but there's no one coming to save me. So it will fail. I will fail. People don't value what I provide, so I should give up. That's in there. And I think a lot of people have that head trash in there all the time. And so how to even describe it? I wonder if the book's over there. The level in which I have been like trying to reach I am like let's see. I'm like, I'm gonna become a Buddhist for Christ's sake. Like, well, for Buddha's sake. Anyways, like I have work every day to keep the pest at bay. Instead, there's more to be done in the root cause analysis to be like, where the fuck did the pest get these ideas? How do we work with the pest to somehow make something work? So I have to accept that lives in me all the time. And she's not going anywhere. Well, she could. You got to question every belief that you've ever had if you want to change everything you've ever done. So other things that kind of words that are coming out as I'm working through this is like the voice. I heard this on the Kiki Palmer podcast is, the voice in my head is not my own, and I don't have to believe everything it tells me. And that's the thing is I am in this moment. I have enough clarity and the fucking third eye open that I'm looking at every single thing I've ever thought. And this is similar to when I had got the ADHD diagnosis. I'm looking at every single process I do, every thought I have, every belief I hold. And I have to look at it through the lens of, is this real? Or did I make that up to make myself feel more comfortable with the bullshit I've been doing? Ooh. It's about observing and It's about observing and letting it go and imagine a hot air balloon taking the pest away. Exactly. It's not your, yeah, exactly. So there are things that I keep trying to find mantras. It's self, health, wealth, preparing for hibernation, give. Oh, I journaled about this. Okay. This is so, like, I'm really just getting it all out there. What I realized is when I come out of those depressive periods, it's kind of like having a crazy, like you're a bartender and you have a crazy night shift and you're like, speaking of night shift, ooh, so good. Let's imagine you're a bartender. You go to work, you get absolutely slammed. There are so many people. You close the bar at 2 a.m. You're cleaning till 5 a.m. and you do your best, but you just leave it in a little bit of disarray. Life really hit you hard last night. Then the opener comes in on Sunday morning and they're like, who left it like this? Oh my God, who could do this? That night shift is depressed Amber. Morning shift is me now. And I, instead of judging the night shift bartender that just got their ass handed to them, how about I give grace to what they experienced? Now, I am probably going to have a lunch rush that destroys me today, but unfortunately, there's no sense in me judging the night shift, the depressed version of me, for all the shit she did. She tried her best, but unfortunately, this is the position we're in. So we can either bitch about it or be about it, or we're about to be about it. So I am now, additionally, and we've talked about this a little bit too, there is a YouTube video, and I love this YouTube video, and it's of this girl, and she, I think, is a psychologist or a neuropsychologist or something, and she,
There's more.
her name is the productivity psychologist,
Gonna get your movement.
and she has this video called The 15 Systems That Took Me From Overwhelmed to Organized. I'm going to put it in the chat because everyone should watch it. But in the beginning, she talks about these like kind of 3 subsections, and she has, let's see. So she has level 1, which is things. How do you intake information? How do you manage your time and events? How do you manage your tasks? How do you manage your knowledge? All of these things, and this video is deeply important for what is coming next. She talks about level 1 is that. Level 2 is the review cycle of time and what you review on a daily, weekly, seasonally, monthly, yearly basis. And then she also talks about things like she talks about your financial systems and, other things. Thing system, your rest, recovery, your exercise, whatever. But the 2 primary ones that I care about is, I really love what she talks about with capture, clarity, commitment, and closing it. So, and that's going to come in the way of, so what I did is I took the 15 that she was talking about and I put it into Claude, and I was like, I want to assess all 15 systems that she suggests, and I want to see how close or far off I am and if I have a plan in place. And so when I needed a way, like if you say, hey, do you have 15 systems to run your life? That's a lot. But if you say, do you have a personal operating system? Ooh, that feels good. If I could say, hey, my personal operating system is I care about these 4 categories of my life. I have goals in those 4 categories and I review them daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. That feels a little easier. To be able to manage those 4 things, I have I can capture internal and external requests. I manage my time on my calendar. Anything that I learn, I put into OneNote, and in terms of long-term development, I have a backlog. That is a lot simpler than saying I have 15 individual systems that all work together in their weird ways. But the thing that I was working through with the review cycle is, if you have a daily checklist and then your weekly checklist is just reviewing, did you do it? Ew. If you look at your monthly checklist, did you do the weekly? Ew. Like, it just feels redundant and bad. So when I realized that you're doing different actions in different statuses of the different time periods, that helped me a lot. So, and that was, again, the Eureka moment. All of these are micro Eurekas, which the funny thing about Eureka is I thought it was Einstein that said it. No, it was Archimedes. And if you don't know anything about Archimedes, neither did I. But if you look up, the thing about Archimedes is he was talking about, they were talking about the purity of the gold crown, whatever, and they were using water displacement. He figured out water displacement to test some shit in the bath. His shower thoughts were, the amount of time I connect dots in my orbital thoughts is in the shower. And the fact that I organically from the soul said Eureka when I figured out that my time periods of routines need different actions associated with them. I yelled that. I looked this up and I figured out that I am connected to Archimedes because I too have shower thoughts that completely changed my life. How fucking hilarious. Anyways, with that, I realized what's happening lately is I'm trying to decide and execute in my daily routine. So yearly or seasonally, kind of like 6 to 12 months, I need to direct what are my goals and what am I reaching for. Seasonally, every 3 to 6 months, I will adjust to the plan. Is this achieving what I thought or not? Monthly, I reflect and review. Are the actions I'm taking now actually getting me closer to where I'm going? Are the plans I have in place working? Weekly, I need to kind of homogenize and summarize the week and decide what we're doing next week. And every day I need to execute. What was happening is I would wake up every morning and be like, oh, fuck, what do we do today? And that is where the beginning of engineering improv came from. I was like, fuck, what? Like, we could do anything. And so because I was so deeply dysregulated, I couldn't trust my time blocks because I couldn't trust when I was going to wake up, how much energy I was going to have, when I was going to eat. By decreasing the variability in my life, I can more trustworthily trust. I'm building trust with myself to be like, hey, no, at 9 a.m., that's when I answer emails. But I had to regulate self, to regulate health, to regulate wealth. And so now that I realize that I'm going to ask myself, and that is where I'm building out the personal operating system. And I'm only scratching the surface on like the research that I'm about to do. But the things that I'm most excited about is I'm not allowed what you're hearing right now is my perceived solutions, but I haven't even completely done the root cause analysis on the spending problem to completely know what actions and daily habits and monthly routines are necessary, what actions need to live inside of those to be able to build them. So it's kind of like I'm building the structure of the dashboard of my life, but the contents can't be entered into the outline until I complete the problem solving activity. So, there's a link in my bio for Night Shift Energy. Use code AMBER20 for 20% off your order. I'm telling you, this shit makes me smarter. But yeah, if you made it this long in the video, thank you for listening to me completely. Like, it feels like I took all my skin off and you're looking at the skeleton. Like, it's just, so deeply personal, but my special zest and my skill in life is being relentlessly vulnerable. I would say I've been performing vulnerability for many, many years, and I'm performatively open, but today was a real step into true vulnerability because I'm finally uncomfortable. And I don't think it's real vulnerability if I'm not like, oh, like, I don't believe in sharing all your secrets all the time, but I think that one was necessary because it's deeply human. And I think sometimes I forget that I can take the robot suit off a little bit and I can be human. I think I could talk about farts and poops and burps and all that stuff all day long. And people are like, wow, she's so, she's got so much humility. She's so open. I could do that in my sleep. I do fart in my sleep. But in terms of talking about the deeply personal, every purchase, every nook and cranny, and really getting in there, thankfully, I can't do this with anyone else's data. So I'm good with showing you my data because then you can repeat it with your life and take the meticulous surgical. And so I think the next 6 months are going to be like, it's like the extreme home makeover. Extreme Home Extreme Home Makeover Home Edition, but it's going to be Extreme Makeover Amber's Finance Edition. So if you made it this far, thank you for listening to me rant. Remember, I'm an idiot. So if anything, let me know. I'm gonna hop off now, but I appreciate you guys coming. Who knows when this ever ends? Goodbye.